Costa Rica that have... Okay. If there's a designer in Costa Rica that has broken the mold, that fashion designer is Daniel Moreira. Daniel has proven that fashion in Costa Rica can be truly high quality, luxurious, and couture. I can even picture any of his dresses being on any red carpet around the world. And he's an incredibly gifted person, indeed one of the most creative people I've ever met. He doesn't only design his own dresses, but he actually paints and draws and takes photos. He painted his whole atelier where we are today. We're so proud and excited to have you at Wonderland Dialogues today. Thank you for chatting with us.
Well, thank you for having me here today. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you.
Me more. Well, you're truly gifted. You are an artist, you're a fashion designer. How did that creativity flourish? How did it begin?
Well, since I was a little kid, I was really attracted to fashion in every way. I was really attracted to women, to clothes, to beauty.
I read somewhere that you studied in LA, in Los Angeles Trade Technical College, for 3 years.
Yes.
So how did you get there from little tiny Costa Rica?
Well, I finished high school and I actually lost one of the exams.
Oh, right.
So I actually had to do it again, so I had to wait 3 months. So I was studying for physics.
Physics.
Yeah, so I lost physics.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I know.
So those 3 months, I just study physics and I paint. So my dad's cousin that lived in LA, and he's a designer also. Mm-hmm. He came to visit and he saw me painting, and then we started talking and we got in the conversation in which I would love to go to LA. To study fashion,
and he lives in LA.
Yeah, he lived in LA, he had a 2-bedroom apartment, and he
fashion designer, is he?
Yeah, he's a male fashion,
right,
like really streetwear. I really admire him, really. And
great inspiration.
Yeah, he actually was a lot of inspiration for myself at that time. So he actually told me, like, why don't you come, hang with me, and that's the way I could help you, to study there. So that's
amazing.
How I went.
That's wonderful.
Thank
you. Did you ever meet Oscar?
Yes, there were a couple of times that we saw Oscar. He came often to the atelier.
Good.
And he always came through the back door, like from the elevator. And the first thing he says every time he came in was like, "Oh, you girls are so slow," to the sewers. He always joked about that, and he talked to them, and he said hi to everybody. I didn't have the chance to sit down and have coffee with him because I was an intern. I was working.
You were
but
like,
I had I was always like,
so
oh my
serious.
God. Yeah. But I had the chance to see him, to greet him, to talk to him in Spanish, a couple of sentences, and to tell him my appreciation for his brand and my admiration to him. Yeah.
That's so cool. So lucky.
Thank you.
So, speaking about Oscar de la Renta, tell us about your time there. What challenges did you have? Tell us about a moment that was hard or particularly challenging.
Well, the first day I was there, they started making me do really simple things, to prove me and to see if I were good and stuff like that. But after that, I worked in the department that worked with embroidery. Mm-hmm. So I think I really did a good job there because, 3 months after I started, I was helping the samples room director. So I learned a lot there because I had a chance at least to see what was happening in the design room, and at least a chance to see Oscar once in a while.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So what did you learn that helped you with your collections now?
Well, I think the most important thing is that I was supposed to be quiet. Mm-hmm. And I talk too much and I'm really out there, but that thing helped me because I was just observing and just listening to everything that was happening around there. So I think the process of making the collection, choosing which garment goes next to each other, choosing how many skirts, how many pants for season, for bridal season. I think all those things helped me a lot when I was there, because I was just absorbing like a sponge all the information I was getting there, because I couldn't do anything, you know.
Right. Danielle, so I can only imagine the time and work that it takes to make a dress. Why don't you show us one of your wonderful dresses?
Well, for example, this one, I love working with layers and different materials. So we have combination of mesh, which give us like transparency, and then we have this sequin fabric that is veiled with this beautiful lace. And then we got the fabric and we just cut the lace to make the pattern and to make the working here, to make it from the same material. And then, you know, I designed for a Latin woman who loves showing back and loves always showing a little leg. So I think, you know, this, for example, is really elegant, but it has this sassy thing of Latin woman.
Of course. Yeah. I just love how detailed everything is. Well, right now, obviously, I'm wearing Danielle's dress, which is just so flattering as well. I wish I had a dress like this every day.
Turn around.
It's just so flattering. It reminds me a little bit of Vivienne Westwood, you know?
Yes.
Like the drapes, the cuts, and the flattering aspect of it. I love it.
Yeah, well, I love women's body, and I think the best way to embrace it is just to wrap it
in the right
yeah.
places and not so much in the wrong places. I love that. So Danielle, tell me, what is your favorite dress that you've ever made?
Which is my favorite dress? I don't know, maybe one that I did for the Gold Museum of Costa Rica.
Okay.
It was an activity called Traffic Museum. Mm-hmm. It was organized by Traffic Magazine here in Costa Rica. So they had like a deal with the Museum of Gold. So we went there and we choose like a gold piece that we love, and we design a dress inspired in that gold piece. So I choose an eagle that had two heads that was made by the Indians here, you know, and I think that is my favorite dress.
And is it your favorite kind of dresses to make, the ones that are more on the creative side, like crazy side, I suppose?
Yeah, I think so, because, you know, I don't have the responsibility of thinking if a client is gonna love it or not. Yeah. I can just do whatever I want. In this case, I use burlap, and I use plastic cups, and I used embroidery, and I used like a lot of different materials to do that garment. And at the end, it was all gold and all shiny and all elaborate. We did like 300 hours of work.
Wow.
In that dress. So yes, I love to do crazy.
Yeah, love it. Well, we're gonna go and check it out now.
Well, I think I grew up here listening to all women complain about not having a place to go get a dress for a special occasion. So that was the first thought. And second of all, you know, those cities have such big industries, and all the places are already taken, and there's so much competition that, you know, I just thought, you know, let them have that. Let them have LA, let them have New York. I've taken a lot of knowledge and wisdom from those places, but why don't we take my own country, where my family is, where my support group is, where my co-workers are, in a country where I can just live and work, not just, you know, work all day.
Of course.
You know, here I can enjoy being a designer, doing everything I want. So that was the biggest motivation for me to come back, to dress women from my country.
Do you ever think you'll sell in shops? Would you like to one day?
Well, I think, of course, I would love my clothes to be everywhere. But from now, like, I love the way I work now, because I really get to meet my clients that really appreciate the work I do. And I think I love that mechanic because, well, the selling in stores is really important for a designer and for the brand, but you never see the clients, you never see the people that wear the dresses. So I think, you know, for a small company that we are now, it's really important to have those feelings inside that you can
Absolutely.
approach to people, because that's what we came to do, dress people.
And obviously, you've done so well, and you're growing so quickly. Now you just had your own fashion show. What has been the biggest pinch me moment of your career?
Well, I've been in several things like Fashion Week, and I opened the first Fashion Week in Costa Rica ever. So I was the
Wow.
first designer to show in Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week
That's
here in Costa
incredible.
Rica. So I've
So
been
special.
there 3 years. So this time that I launched my own show, it was really breathtaking. And one particular thing I really think it's really funny is that every time I just go out to say hi at the end of the collection, my ears stop working. So I never hear claps, I never hear anything. So I just see people staring at me and lights, and that's it. So it's really funny because it's all a blur, but at the end I'm just happy, maybe. It's how I express happiness, maybe, because I'm really happy for the work that I've done. Yes.
That is wonderful. You're such a pioneer in the fashion industry in Costa Rica. What do you foresee is going to happen with fashion in Costa Rica?
Well, I think so many local brands have arisen ultimately in the past years. I think it's not gonna be 5 more years to have a really big industry here. I mean, things grow so fast, and colleagues come and more, I think the best thing for the industry here is to have options, because everybody's point of view is important, I think. And you just have to make sure you convince a certain type of client just to get your stuff because they love fashion. So I think, it's really a privilege to be in a country that actually is not, built up already, because it's really excitement to be in the process of that. So it's really important for me to be here doing what I do.
I feel the same way. I'm very excited that we're both in fashion, and it's such early days, but to imagine that somehow the door are going to open so much. So there's so many designers coming, and you have already established yourself at the right place at the right time. That is truly wonderful. What advice would you give to all the young Costa Ricans or young people around the world looking to break into the fashion industry who see you as such an inspiration?
Well, I think one of the most important things for a fashion designer, for somebody in fashion, it's to really observe and study what clients want, because that's the base of your company, your sales. So I think to have a study about your environment, the clients around the environment in which they are, I think that's one of the most important things. So for a designer creating a brand, I think take your time to study the persons you're gonna sell your clothes. I think that's one of my biggest advices.
Well, I love that you're so client focused and you care so much about them. I think that's what makes what you do so special and so unique.
Well, my favorite dress is one I did for the Gold Museum of Costa Rica. And it's my favorite dress because it just has everything on it. I just went gold everywhere, and it's a really intricate dress.
Can't wait to see it.
I want to show it to you so much. Yes, here it comes.
That's stunning.
So I really had fun making this dress because, it has everything. It's made out of burlap, which is a natural fiber used here for coffee, So it's really familiar for us. And it was the Gold Museum, so we had to choose a piece. And I chose the one that was an eagle with 2 heads. So, And actually, these are plastic cups with gold foil on it.
Incredible.
So it actually has particles of gold in the dress.
That's
and the
stunning.
rest of the embroidery, it's also made of plastic cups. So I think it's really, really good.
It's so dramatic. Oh, she looks stunning. I love
I want
the
to
dress.
show you another
Okay.
one, which is really special for me. So this dress was on Miss Universe pageant the last year, and it's also really all embroidered with the technique of the coquelier here.
Gorgeous.
And it has really a lot of handwork, which is my
see.
specialty. Yeah. Turn around.
Wow. The detail is amazing.
Yeah, I love how powerful the women look with this kind of dresses.
Stunning. So sexy, of course. What kind of fabric is that?
Well, we have here organza, and we have black and navy blue, so it actually mixes together really nicely, and I really like the silver on it. It really makes it really bionic.
Yeah.
So, I actually think I always like to see women as a warrior, you know?
I can tell that. They're stunning. So what does the future hold for Daniel Moreira? What is the next collection gonna be like? Can you give us a glimpse?
Well, the new collection that's coming next year is the biggest project I have next. So I really like to paint often as for inspiration. So for that, this collection I just had that was Japanese inspired. So I was inspired in the painting I did with the Japanese girl. For this next one, I have this other girl I painted, and I wanted to show you. So let's go see the painting. Yeah, for the next collection.
That's exciting.
You guys can come with us.
Oh wow, look at that. It's gorgeous.
So her name is Sakayawea, and she's American Indian. So all the collection is inspired in cowboys, desert, bars in desert, trains, and stealing things from trains, you
I
know.
imagine lots of feathers as well.
Yeah, you know, braids, feathers, girls from the prairie, you know, stuff like that. I think
I'm
it's
so
gonna be interesting.
excited. When is that going to be then?
Well, it's going to be actually like around a year from now. I always like to show in April, which is a really good season to show in Costa Rica. So yeah, probably we're gonna have that collection on April, yes.
Okay, hope I'm here back in Costa Rica. So April 2017, that's happening. I have to be here.
Yeah, you have to.
Well, Daniel, thank you so much for coming to Wonderland Dialogues and chatting with us. It was wonderful to see your collections, your inspiration, and keep it up. And thank you for everything.
Thank you very much for having me.
Aww,
It was a pleasure for me having you here.
thanks.